Tyson is already the terror of the heavyweight division, holding 2 championship belts.
Trying to hold on. Serious trouble, and down he goes.
In less than 2 years as a professional, Tyson has rocketed from the impoverished neighborhoods of New York to the absolute pinnacle of boxing, destroying everything in his path.
Uppercut, and Rogers is hurt.
Yet operating in the shadow of the terrifying champion is another fighter, the unjustly overlooked Tony Tucker.
Tony the Terminator Tucker!
By 1987, casual fans might not have known Tucker's name. The blinding spotlight on Tyson often rendered even fellow world champions invisible. But writing Tucker off was a massive mistake. Standing almost an imposing 6 feet 7 inches with a massive 82-inch reach, Tucker possessed the explosive power to end fights in an instant.
Thomas is down.
By the mid-1980s, he had amassed an immaculate 34-0 record with 29 knockouts.
Show everything again. He's taking his time. He's looking for. There's a good right hand. Right on.
He was a classic puncher with a cold, calculating demeanor that earned him the moniker the Terminator. His signature weapon was a devastating right uppercut, a nightmare for shorter opponents like Tyson.
And he's got him on the ropes, and I mean on the ropes. I don't think Washington can land this round.
Aggressively punching.
See how slow Rouse is with 4 of them. Yeah.
He goes from a right uppercut.
Despite his undeniable talent, Tucker's road to a blockbuster fight was arduous. He secured the IBF world title a mere 9 weeks before facing Tyson. After the IBF stripped Michael Spinks of his belt in the spring of 1987, Tucker faced a then unknown James Buster Douglas for the vacant championship. On May 30th, Tucker overcame early struggles to defeat Douglas via a 10th round technical knockout.
There was a left hook there. And a right behind it, and another right. Douglas is in deep trouble on the ropes. Almost halfway through the round.
This victory earned Tucker the IBF crown and a ticket to face Tyson for the undisputed championship. Unlike many of Tyson's opponents, who walked to the ring already psychologically defeated, Tucker refused to yield. He carried a reputation for unshakable, almost arrogant confidence. While bookmakers predictably installed Tyson as an 11-1 favorite, boxing purists warned that the Terminator was a live underdog.
But, Tony Tucker is a problem. This guy's 35-0. Right. He's got a lot of experience. He can fight a little bit. He's not the walkover everyone's trying to make him out to be.
On August 1st, 1987, at the Las Vegas Hilton, the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world was on the line. The bout served as the grand finale of an ambitious tournament orchestrated by Don King and HBO to unify the division. For the first time in heavyweight history, 2 undefeated champions clashed. Tyson brought his WBA and WBC belts. Tucker brought his IBF title. Both were young, brimming with confidence, and fiercely determined. Tyson boldly declared he was taking the 3rd belt home to erase any lingering doubts about his greatness. Tucker countered, stating he was vastly underestimated and ready to fight for his legacy. The opening bell rang, and the crowd held its breath.
On the run, as it were. And we'll see what kind of tactic Tucker takes.
At the opening bell, Iron Mike immediately hunted for a knockout, throwing vicious hooks. However, Tucker smartly tied Tyson up, neutralizing his power, and even landed a thunderous uppercut that momentarily staggered the favorite.
Is he strong enough to do that? Well, that was a good right hand by Tucker. That might have been the best shot that Mike Tyson has ever taken, right there. Did you know that uppercut blocked Mike Tyson? This, technically speaking, no one gave Tucker a chance. But there are miracles here. The last time Tony Tucker lost a fight was in 1978. A lot of times people say, well, what do you see in Mike Tyson? And we always felt that he was susceptible to take jabs, but I think what Tucker saw in Tyson was the uppercut. He was susceptible to the uppercut because of his style, the way he launches in. That was one of the few times I have ever seen Mike Tyson stopped by a punch. What happened then was the best thing that Tucker could have done. Maybe I'm worried about what I'm going to do to him. That's confidence. Another right hand. And another right hand by Tucker. Tucker seems willing to brawl with Mike Tyson early.
Go back. Get him up, Tony. Come on.
There was a left hand by Tyson. Also, Tony Tucker stated that because no one expected him to win, there was motivation. And he's fighting with sheer motivation here. A lot of confidence. Yeah, he said he likes being the underdog, even though it's the first time he's been one. Probably since he was an amateur. You know what's happening? Every time Mike reaches in, James Broad right there, I didn't think he fought that well. But it was against James Broad. Against Douglas, he fought a little bit better. And now we'll see what he can do against certainly the best fighter he's fought so far.
Sit back, Mike. Sit back, Tony. Sit back, clean. Here we go, clean. Here we go.
Again, a right hand, but he took a right from Tyson. And another big right by Mike Tyson.
Sit back, Mike. Sit back.
Did a very good first round for both men. And particularly for Tucker. The great left hand at the bell by Tyson.
Forced to adapt, Tyson shifted from seeking a single finishing blow to throwing rapid combinations. Tucker's durability was astonishing. Tyson repeatedly landed heavy shots to the head and body, but Tucker absorbed the punishment, forcing Tyson to expend massive amounts of energy.
Well, you know, Ray, I harken back to your fight with Marvin Hagler. Surviving the first round actually can turn the tables around on a fighter. It gives him the confidence. And again, more like Tony Tucker, in fact, he's throwing one. He's using his height, his reach. Good body shot by Tyson. Tyson changed. Tyson's trying to step. That was a little bit low, and I think it's going to draw a warning.
You go down there again. You're coming. Come on.
The jab to box. He's telling him the jab. That was a good example. That uppercut, he really wants to frustrate Mike Tyson. There was a left hand by Tyson, but it did not appear to hurt Tucker.
Punches underneath. Punch him underneath.
This is the third round. A lot of people did not think it would go this far. Here we go again. And catch up. Try to catch Tyson coming in with the charge as the referee. No nonsense guy. Tucker with another left hook to the head of Mike Tyson. There was a good right hand again by Tucker. In close, catching Tyson on the way in. He's finished with the left hook there. What's allowing Tony Tucker to get that hook with his head? The uppercut has been doing that was a good left hand, and that staggered Tony Tucker. Frustration is what it calls. It creates frustration in the fight. Because Tony's been tying his man up. There was a good right hand by Tucker again. When they're uppercuts, Barry, you notice they're uppercuts for one punch. And that's where normally Tyson's able to dominate his opponent because he throws a barrage of punches. Not one punch, because one punch normally is not going to do it. Intensity in Tony Tucker. There was a big left hand by Tyson. And that was the one big punch. And another one. You see, this is what Tyson wanted. He wanted Tucker to stand there and exchange punch for punch. In this case, normally, Tyson comes out on top.
Get him up, Tucker, come on.
As well as not, Tucker can withstand this type of pressure.
Get him up, Mike, come on.
Bring it back up to the head. There's a right hand again by Tyson, but Tucker appears unhurt again. Definitely has his legs back under him after being hurt earlier in this round. What a good shot. With another left hand. Movement seems to be affecting Mike's punches because he's not able to get his punches in there. Well, the factor is that Tony Tucker initiated respect. He stood his ground. He rocked Mike Tyson the first round with a beautiful uppercut. So there's mutual respect here. Good hand speed by Tony Tucker. I just don't like when he stands there and exchanges punches. Tyson Tyson got the better of that right in front of him, and he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move and I'll be firing. And through the first 3 rounds, at any rate, I'm not so sure about the fourth, but the first 3 rounds, a lead-off right. There's a left hook. What you know is the left hand that's Tony in front of Tony Tucker. And that's why Tony's able to get those punches off. He should give him a little more head movement. Left, right, left, right. Be less of a target. There was a right hand in close by Tyson. There was a right hand, bud. But get him out of there. There was a right hand by Tyson. Left missed. Right was right there.
As the fight entered its second half, Tyson conserved his stamina. He stopped loading up on every punch, relying instead on a crisp jab, precise distance management, and lateral movement. Tucker lost his ability to initiate the clinch and struggled to keep pace, repeatedly paying the price for his slower footwork.
Mike Tyson's perpetual motions always comes here to break his rhythm, either with a jab or to tie him up and break that rhythm. I haven't seen anybody be able to push him off, pushing a man off. Right? Tyson's just, and what Mike has to do is, because I didn't expect that much from him, but the fact of the matter is, it's making matters very, very tough for Mike Tyson to get inside. Tyson looks right now like he's in it for the long haul here. And there was a big right hand. Tucker says, no, I'm not hurt. I've always found that to mean I'm hurt. That right hand landed because, again, the habit that Tucker makes is dropping his left hand inside. He took another right hand, got cute, and paid the price. I think he's watched my fight before. Yeah, I think he has too. I think his timing is not as good as yours. You notice the movement of Tucker's foot throwing Tyson off, not allowing him to get inside and be effective. Tyson's jab in the last 3 rounds has been effective in allowing him to get inside on Tony Tucker. It's not a jab like Tucker's. Tucker predominantly a boxer. Tyson, of course, a banger. But his jab does allow him to work in. He is loose throughout most of this fight. He's very relaxed. I think what did it was that first round when he rocked Mike Tyson. He said, hey, I can punch too. Well, in fact, in that first fight, he got a cramp in his left arm in the first round. And not actually formed. It was with him the whole fight. And he feels it was just from tenseness. Also, I think he's a great fighter. You know, another thing that I feel we should at least point out here is there was a rumor in Las Vegas boxing circles, but there was a rumor about Tyson's, or rather Tucker's right hand, that he had injured his right hand, and that's why he backed off training for the last. Once again, Tucker trying to get cute, and again getting the worst of it, still mugging with Tyson, which brings the crowd alive. Well, when you do that, and I know from experience because I invented it, you got to be very careful because you're so vulnerable for a counterpunch.
As the fight approached the final rounds, Tucker was clearly starting to fade. The punishment he had taken was beginning to show. Yet even then, he kept clowning around and teasing his opponent. What a fight to watch.
I made the punch count, and he did that and got hit. Well, the key is doing what you have to do. On the left hand. Okay, I like that in Mike Tyson because he's throwing combinations again. But whenever he throws, he looks for one shot. He's talking for a long, long night. Right hand and anger. This intensity, this magnitude. When you're fighting, you really don't feel it because those adrenaline's flowing, and you don't feel the pain. He did throw a right uppercut there, which missed. Fight. That right hand seems to hurt Tucker. His knees seem to buckle just for a second. Right hand up on the top of the head. When guys are in tremendous shape, it's very tough to see what, to tell whether or not they're hurt or not. code, not whether he's going to win the mile race, but what it's 15 rounds, as we mentioned. You can hear Kevin Rooney yelling in the background. Get on him, he said. Wanted Tyson to move his head. That's something, Ray, you pointed out about 5 rounds ago. Yes, you have to move that head in order to get inside and not be very susceptible to the uppercuts. There's a right hand by Tucker that backed Tyson off.
Get him up, both of you. Come on.
That was a big left hand. Tyson getting off quicker with his jab now. Good, short, strong, fast left jab of Mike Tyson. Well, if in fact ring generalship is a key factor in judging a fight, I really do believe that since about the 5th round, Mike Tyson has been in charge of the fight. He has been the aggressor. Mike has not been able to land the kind of punches we've seen in the past. And the reason for that is because of the way that Tony Tucker has approached this fight. Tony Tucker's right hand now is dropping, and that is asking for Mike Tyson's left hook. Then get close. Now come. There it was. That's what you have to do. That's what he has to do, brother. This jab will get him closer to the taller man, Tucker, and then he can throw his punches. Once again, bro, you see what's happening here. Then he gets him. Now he's starting to cut the ring off. Now he's not following Tyson. Now he's inside again. The jab once again is effective. As effectively as I've seen Mike Tyson jab, his jab is also, he gets it in, but he has to use it more and work his way in. And remember, it's a different capital. Mike can't keep running with this chin like that. Not with the hand speed of Tony Tucker. Tyson's clamp, but you gotta push it. You gotta push it to the limit. And in Tyson's corner, they told him he got 2 rounds left. Fight for the full 3 minutes. The arms ache. You stop this job. You have to be great for what you got to do. Time is manned up. Those little antics there sometimes work. You get what you do, you reverse the crowd's approval. He's fighting his fight. He's doing his thing. He doesn't care what people say on the books or write in the books. Well, if nothing else, you got to say Tony Tucker did fight Mike Tyson, and there's been a lot of Tyson opponents that haven't done that. Good left hook by Mike Tyson. Just check out Tony. Go out there and win this round big. So Rooney just being a realist. I have to say something, bro. You know when Tony Tucker won the title against Buster Douglas, I felt that he needed more experience to deal with Mike Tyson. That he wasn't strong enough. He don't have the experience to deal with Mike Tyson. I say it'd probably be a blowout. But he said, so what with these so-called experts? I'm gonna show you. And this is what he did tonight. Yeah, and he has. Even if he loses the fight, he's probably made more friends than he has in the 34 wins that he's had. Friends and believers. You have to take your head off to the guy. I mean, he's in there with a monster in Mike Tyson, who has fought a good fight tonight. Yes, he has. I mean, Mike Tyson has done the best job he could possibly do against a guy as mobile, hand speed, height, and reach advantage. And a guy who wasn't in there just to survive either. Tony Tucker, as Larry Merchant's always fond of saying, he had the big hat, and while maybe he didn't have all the cattle, at least he had a couple of cows. A right hand just barely grazed the chin of Tony Tucker. is Tucker. Great finish to a pretty entertaining evening. It's over. Well, Tony Tucker talked the talk and walked the walk.
The judges awarded Tyson a unanimous decision with scores of 119 to 111, 118 to 113, and 116 to 112. At 21, Tyson had achieved the historic feat of becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion, yet he remained dissatisfied. Tucker had subjected him to a grueling test, becoming one of the first men to drag Tyson the full 12-round distance. Tucker firmly believed he deserved to have his hand raised that night. Years later, the former champion revealed he had fought with a broken hand. "If my hand wasn't broken, I would have knocked him out," Tucker reflected. "I injured it in sparring, but my father convinced me I would heal before the fight. Tyson didn't hurt me once the entire night." Tucker desperately wanted a rematch, but Tyson's eventual prison sentence derailed those plans. Tyson would defend his undisputed crown 6 more times until that fateful night in February 1990 against James "Buster" Douglas. But that is another story entirely.
Here is the decision of the judges. We have a unanimous decision. Judge Phil Newman scores 119, 111. Judge Julio Roldan scores 118, 113. And Judge Bill Graham scores 116, 112 for the winner by unanimous decision and undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson.
Are you happy with the way you fought tonight?
Not really, because I was trying my best to punch inside, but it just wasn't together today, and he was